revered. Led by their faith, their followers are loyal. A recognition of the power and a redemption of the soul. Enchanted by the way they are guided. Redeemed in grace they are sure. The martyrs become famous and the path goes ever on. Famous be their names and blessed be their souls. The devoted will inherit and the deniers will be lost. The martyrs become famous and the path goes ever on. The martyrs become famous and the path goes ever on.
Salvation come around, you'll be whacked out, tripping to run this into the ground. Cause we got something good going, give me all your love. No, you can't let this go to waste, let your good faith dissipate. Okay, are we ready for some revelations tonight? I have some stories to tell of biblical proportions. Right now I'm a little bit of a homemade superstar, but catch me in 5 years when I have Beyonce's budget. These girls that I'm going to tell you about tonight are divine and devoted. They are everything that I want to be. Give me everything, follow me, like you ought to love me. Follow me, make me everything to you. Now I've got faith in the Lord, but tell me if it's flawed. Cause my reason for devotion is my need to be adored. But I'm falling for forgiveness of my superficial wish. Let's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. But I'm still trying hard to get my angel wings. Follow me, give me everything. Follow me, like you ought to love me. Follow me, make me everything to you. Follow me, give me everything, oh, follow me, like you ought to love me. Follow me, make me everything to you. Okay, saints, sinners, and everything in between. Are we ready for a good time tonight? To party like it is 1829, which was the Catholic Emancipation Act, when they were freely allowed to practice their religion in the UK once more. Am I right? Now, there are many grisly tales and sticky ends I could tell you about long-suffering women that made Catholic girls go wild, but unlike Saint Monica, the patron saint of patience, I just don't have the time. If you don't love me by the end of this, then I am really doing something wrong. So I want to tell you about something that, one of my favourite things. I think that the best part of anything is the build-up. When the lights go down and the crowd gets quiet and you're waiting with bated breath and wide eyes. You fasted for this moment, sealed your lips and bound your eyes, abstained from pleasure and prayed for emancipation. And then it is the first crack of a whip before the skin is broken. The first spark of a match before the fire takes hold. The hush before a singer takes the stage. And there, in the silence, there is ecstasy. Now I've got a few stories to tell you tonight. And the first one is about a saint who I think is pretty cool. I don't know if that's a thing or not to think saints are cool, but anyway. So she is Saint Catherine of Alexandria. She was round in a whirl, she's a devoted girl, and she's too good for this world, too good for this world, devoted. It's 305 AD, she's an Egyptian queen, in a time of persecution just for what she believes. An educated woman, while she's seen as a threat, she better watch her back, there's not a chance that she'll get away with causing a stir. The big boy, the emperor, and that said, she just won't have it, girl, he's gonna come for ya. She's a Christian girl in a pagan world. He won't have someone tell him his beliefs are absurd. So he calls her to court where her eloquence shines through, and subsequently she converts half of the room. He called her to dispute, but she did not refute. Egypt 305 AD is not ready for the truth. And she's too good for this world, too good for this world. Devoted. Scourged, fighting for a voice to be heard. She's beaten, stripped and starved, but our girl isn't scared. Cause just like that, a miracle steps into the fray. It's that God that Catherine prays to every day. And dove from above and a little angel love leaves Catherine well fed, cured and looking good. She goes round in a whirl, she's a devoted girl, and she's too good for this world, too good for this world. Devoted. As he's told she wouldn't work, Catherine would not be led, so Max Ensch just decides that he'll marry her instead. Thousands of years have passed since his point and then, but I'm glad we can still rely on the entitlement of men. So he's down on one knee, pleading, begging for her hand. If they're bound, you see, he thinks she'll be under his command, and he says, Catherine, do you love me? And she says, nah, mate, I only love my Lord God above me. St. Max Ensch was a dickhead, just let that be known. He still thinks Catherine is a threat to his throne, so he sentenced her to death on a wheel full of spikes. But wait, mate, you forgot she's got God on her side. What a big mistake. The wheel breaks. It's actually quite hard to kill our little saint. She goes round in a whirl, she's a devoted girl, and she's too good for this world, too good for this world. Devoted. She goes round in a whirl, she's a devoted girl, and she's too good for this world, too good for this world. Devoted. Yes, then after the wheel thing, they did chop off her head and then she did die. It's actually quite difficult to write funky pop beats to lyrics about women being brutally tortured. It has quite a niche audience, but you guys all seem to be enjoying yourselves. Woo! Especially you over there. Woo! You are enjoying yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
So, my next song is about possibly my favourite saint of all time. Now, I don't know if it is weird or not to have a favourite saint of all time, but she's a woman after my own heart. So, firstly, she wore trousers before it was cool. She was into politics, and she led the French army to victory against the English. It's Saint Joan of Arc. You ready?
Woo! Woo!
I heard an angel calling, and suddenly I'm falling, and oh, my faith is soaring. I feel exaltation, and all the angels and the saints, they guide us into the holy nation. So, Saint Joan of Arc, I'm just going to tell you, she's from Dormy, right, in France. And one day, she's out in the fields, and she hears angels. So she hears Saint Catherine, Saint Michael, and she hears Saint Margaret. Now, some people say that these saints fasted until they got themselves into hallucinogenic states that culminated in these visions. And these people might be right, or they could be heathens. Who knows? As you rain down redemption, I feel exaltation, and all the angels and the saints, they guide us into the holy nation. For one true God and a life everlasting I'm believing. There are whispers. She's a heretic. She's a sorceress. She's a witch. But Saint Joan of Arc is led by the grace of God, and she pays these whispers no heed. I feel exaltation, and all the angels and the saints, they guide us into the holy nation. For one true God and a life everlasting I'm believing. I heard a voice from heaven, and no, I'm not telling. Her faith is overwhelming, and when I close my eyes I feel inside my sins are dwelling. Then Saint Joan of Arc leads the French to victory against the English. She is a hero. As you rain down redemption, I feel exaltation, and all the angels and the saints, they guide us into the holy nation. But then you see she is captured, not by the English, by the French, who indict her on 3 charges. The first, acting inappropriately for a woman at that time, wearing trousers and fighting in battles. The second, showing obedience not to living man but only to God. And the third, leading an army. So the French then sell her to the English, who sentence her to death. She's used as a political pawn. See, if the French kill her, then there'll be outrage because people love her. But if the English kill her, then they remain the bad guys, and it is very good for the French war effort. A crowd gathers. She asks to hold a small wooden cross, and then she is burnt to death at the stake. So I've got one last song for you tonight. This one is for Saint Eulalia. Stay with me, yeah? Take my time, I'll give you everything. It's not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. Not enough, enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. So Saint Eulalia of Spain was 13. So, when she wouldn't renounce her faith, they decided to torture her 13 times. First, they imprisoned her, all alone. But Eulalia endured. Next, they whipped her until she bled. But Eulalia endured. They cut off her skin until it hung in strips, but Eulalia endured. They rubbed her wounds with stones, but Eulalia endured. They made her walk across burning embers, but Eulalia endured. They cut off her breasts, but Eulalia endured. They submerged her in burning lime, but Eulalia endured. They burned her with molten lead, but Eulalia endured. They burned her with oil, but Eulalia endured. They locked her in a flea box, but Eulalia endured. They locked her in a barrel filled with knives and swords, but Eulalia endured. They crucified her. For 13 days she hung on a cross, but Eulalia endured. Eventually, when they could think of no more tortures, they chopped off her head, and then Eulalia died. When they chopped off St. Catherine's head, they say a single dove flew from her severed neck, and people knew that she was holy. With St. Joan, they asked her if she would renounce her faith. They asked her if she really believed that it was God who told her to lead an army. And she replied, "If I am not in the grace of God, may He put me there. If I am, may God so keep me." Saints, sinners, and everything in between. Follow me, give me everything. Follow me, like you ought to love me. Follow me, make me everything to you.